Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nashta Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Just testing you all. Om Jnanatimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschachadesha Tarane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai. So welcome everyone to class. We'll be reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 15, Text 6. 1:15:6. And the topic for this morning's class is a feeling of separation from Krishna, Vipralambha Bhav, which is very much was relished by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this verse from the Bhagavatam speaks about it. Are you there? Yasya kshana viyogena loko ya priya darshanaha uktena rahito yesha mitaka prochate yata yasya kshana viyogena loko ya priya darshanaha uktena rahito yesha mritaka prochate yata. Please chant. Yasya kshana viyogena loko ya priya darshanaha Yasya kshana viyogena lokoya priya darshanaha utena rahito yesha mitaka prochete yata. Yasya kshana viyogena loko ya priya darshana uktena rahito yesha mrittaka prochite yata. So let's do the word for word. Yasya, whose? Kshana, a moment. Viyogena, by separation. Lokaha, all the universes. He, certainly. Apriya darshanaha, everything appears unfavorable. Uktena, by life. Rahita, being devoid of. He, certainly. Esha, all these bodies. Mrittakaha, dead bodies. Prochyate, are designated. Yata, as it were. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I have just lost him whose separation for a moment would render all the universes unfavorable and void, like bodies without life. So this is talking about when Krishna departed from this world. So he's thinking that when Krishna is here, everything is wonderful, everything is glorious and nice. During Krishna's presence, even though Krishna's presence on the planet overlapped with the beginning of the Kali Yuga, but the Kali Yuga didn't have any influence because Krishna couldn't have any influence because Krishna was here. But as soon as Krishna left the planet, then Kali Yuga just flooded in, and and without Krishna, everything just seemed empty, right? Unfavorable. Apriya. Apriya means dear or pleasing, and so apriya darshana. What I'm seeing is it's not looking pretty. It's not a very dear, not a pleasing sight. What I'm seeing is this world without Krishna. So this is a feeling, and that everything is, all the universes are unfavorable and void, like bodies without life. So Srila Prabhupada says, factually, for a living being, there is no one dearer than the Lord. This is a very important thing to meditate on, that for all of us, for every single one of us sitting here, there is no one dearer to us than the Lord. So that's telling us something about our constitutional position, right? Because right now that may not be the case. We may not be feeling like that. There may be people in our lives who are dearer to us than the Lord. If you look out in the material world, sometimes people hold even their dogs and cats dearer to them than the Lord, right? But the actual position of the spirit soul is that there is no one dearer to us than the Lord. The Lord expands himself by innumerable parts and parcels as Swamsha and Vibhinamsha. Paramatma is the Swamsha part of the Lord, whereas the Vibhinamsha parts are the living beings. As the living being is the important factor in the material body, for without the living being, the material body has no value. Similarly, without Paramatma, the living being has no status quo. Similarly, Brahman or Paramatma has no locus standi without the Supreme Lord Krishna. This is thoroughly explained in the Bhagavad Gita. They are all interlinked with one another, or interdependent factors. Thus, in the ultimate issue, the Lord is the summum bonum, and therefore the vital principle of everything. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So yeah, Prabhupada is making this point. It's kind of like expanding out. So within the material body, the important thing is the spirit soul. Why? Because that spirit soul is an expansion of Krishna, is a Vibhinamsha expansion of Krishna, little part and parcel, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 15:7, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Does the next part go? Mana Shastra Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. Yeah, so he's saying that these living entities in this material world, they're my eternal fragmental parts. Mama, Eva, Amsha. So mama means my, Eva means certainly, and Amsha means my parts. Like the ray of sun is the Amsha of the sun. Like that. So we are like little rays of the sun of Krishna. And yet, here we are in this material body, right? Mana, Sastran, Indriyani, that we have this mind and we have the six senses, and Prakriti, Stani, Karshati, and we're struggling very hard with these, right? We were talking about Bhurijan Prabhu. Sometimes we struggle very hard with our mind, we struggle very hard with our senses, and the situation in the material world is very difficult, but Krishna is saying that very compassionately that I know that you're struggling. I know that it's not easy for you here in this material world. It's a struggle. Everything is a struggle. Your mind gives you problems. Your senses give you problems. Your body, you get pains. You get sick. You get old. You get insulted. You get mistreated. And like this, there's so many pains of the body, the mind, the adhyatmika kleshas, adhibhotika kleshas, adhidivika kleshas. Right? Klesha means miseries. So these are the threefold miseries. Miseries caused by our own body and mind, miseries caused by other living beings, and miseries caused by just the natural disasters, the weather and things like that are caused by the devas, the demigods. So Krishna is saying, I know that you're suffering. I know it's a struggle. I know it's very difficult. But please know this, that it's just a temporary situation. Actually, you're my Amsha. You're like a ray of my light. You're like a spark from my fire. You're like a drop of my ocean. You are part of me. You're inseparable from me. And the trouble is that ahankara vimudatma, right? That we're identifying with all of this. We're thinking that this is us. And we're thinking that there are so many things dear to us, right? Like my family members, my friends, my pets, my home, my car, my mobile phone, all these things are very dear to me. My country, whatever the things I identify with, right? They become very dear to us. We become very attached to these things. But actually, the dearmost thing is the Lord. And so within the body, the reason that the soul is so important, because the soul is part of the Lord. And then you could say even more part of, or even a more valuable part of the Lord is the Paramatma, because he's a Vishnu Tattva expansion of the Lord within the body. And then amongst the different features of the Lord, Brahman and Paramatma, is saying that also they don't have any value without Bhagavan, the Supreme Lord Krishna. So everything is depending on Bhagavan Shri Krishna. They're all interdependent, and the most important, the most valuable thing or object or person within all of this is Krishna. And nothing is important without Krishna. Of course, nothing exists without Krishna, because everything ultimately is Krishna. So, like that. And the reason that we feel distress, you could say that, well, the Ishopanishad, Srila Prabhupada in his comment to the verse, the invocation, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnas Udachite Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vashishite. He says that the personality of God is perfect and complete, and everything that emanates from him is also perfect and complete. That means this universe is perfect and complete. That means that we are perfect and complete, because we're all emanations from the perfect, complete whole. And then Prabhupada says that any experience of incompleteness within this material world is due to incomplete understanding of the complete whole. So if we could just understand the complete whole, Krishna, then, and our relationship with him, then we'll be completely satisfied. So, sometimes we feel like there's something missing in our lives, right? We often feel like it's kind of like a ubiquitous experience, that there's something that I want that I don't have, whether that's some object out there, available in the marketplace, or whether it's a relationship, maybe I lost one of my parents, or, I'm separated from one of my brother or sister, or maybe, I want to be in a romantic relationship and I'm not. And for whatever reason, I'm just feeling, lonely and alone and separated from a loved one, or something like that. So that feeling is ultimately rooted in the separation from Krishna. Because if we had, a very well-established relationship with Krishna, then that's completely satisfying, right? That I'm blundering all over. Savai pumsam paro bhakto yato dharmo. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje ahaituki apratiyata yayatma suprasidhati. So when we perform bhakti yoga, which is the supreme dharma for all living beings, the paro dharma, and we do it bhakti for Krishna. Bhakti means for Krishna, without any material motivation and without any cessation, unmotivated and uninterrupted, then that completely satisfies the self. There's nothing more to be hankered for, right? It just completely satisfies the self. So, if we're feeling any dissatisfaction, it's because either we're incomplete understanding of the complete whole, or incomplete understanding of our relationship with the complete whole, that Jivara Swarpo Hoy Krishnara Nityadas, that I'm Krishna's eternal servant and I need to serve the complete whole, or that our service, our impetus or our mood in offering service is not completely pure, right? It's fraught with material motivations. Or it's sometimes we serve Krishna and sometimes we serve our senses, right? And even if we're serving Krishna purely, but we stop and then we do something else, we get distracted. So again, it comes down to the incompleteness of our understanding, of our service, of our proper mood. And so when we get everything completely nicely in place, then we're going to be completely satisfied. So this is the secret of satisfaction in life, is rendering pure, loving, devotional service to Krishna, the complete whole, realizing our eternal connection with him. So, and yet, even very pure devotees still feel separation from Krishna. They're still not satisfied, right? So there's different levels of satisfaction. One, in material life, most people are hanking for material satisfaction, right? Like, I don't have this material thing that I want. I don't have this material relationship that I want, or whatever. So when we come to Krishna consciousness, then those things become very easily satisfied. You're like, okay, I don't need a huge house by the sea anymore. I don't need a brand new, whatever, Tesla car or whatever. I don't need the latest iPhone. I'm good. I have something that works. I can do my service. It's okay. I'm satisfied with whatever Krishna has provided by his mercy. But then on a transcendental level, there comes another, as the person advances in Krishna consciousness, a totally different quality of dissatisfaction arises, and that is the dissatisfaction from feeling so far away from Krishna. Right? That I've realized my relationship with Krishna. I want to be with Krishna. I want to serve Krishna. I want to see Krishna. I want to feel his presence, but I'm not feeling so distant right now. And I'm feeling like even I don't have enough attraction for him. So this was the mood of Lord Chaitanya in his Shikshastika prayers. So I'm going to read an excerpt, section from Chaitanya Charitamrita Antya Lila, Chapter 20, which is the Shikshastika prayers, text 38 to 49. You can follow along if you want. I'll just read the English for the sake of time. So text 38. Separation from Krishna awoke various mellows of distress, lamentation, and humility. Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a crazy man. So you see here that this is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he's reciting the Shikshastika verses, and as he's doing so, he's feeling separation from Krishna. Yeah, I was reading yesterday in Bhajan Rahasya about how Bhaktivinoda Thakur is recommending that as we go through Shikshastika, we have certain meditations on the different verses. And so the first 2 verses are for purification and for developing confidence and being firmly convinced in the process of Sankirtan, that Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam kalo nastyeva 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 gatiranyate, that this is the only way of deliverance. This age of Kali is chanting the holy names. And then as we go on chanting, then he says that when you come to the 5th verse, then you should start meditating on some service that you would like to do for Krishna. And so after, presumably, since this is the system that's established by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is meditating on some, as in his form as a devotee, the best devotee, he's meditating on what can he do for Krishna. And so when he's thinking about what service he might want to render to Krishna, he's feeling separation, because he's like, I want to do this service for Krishna, but where is Krishna? He's not here. He's far away. How can I serve him? I want to serve him in this way, but I can't. So then separation from Krishna awoke. And along with that came different emotions. So these emotions are distress, lamentation, and humility. So he's distressed, sad that I'm far away from Krishna, lamenting that I came to this material world, being humble that I'm so helpless, I have no access to Krishna. What can I do? And then it says, thus Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a crazy man. And what did he say as a crazy man? He said the next verse, Yugayatam nimishena chakshusha pravishayatam shunyayatam jagat sarvam govinda virahena me. My Lord Govinda, because of separation from you, I consider even a moment a great millennium. Tears flow from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I see the entire world as void. So yeah, yuga means not just a millennium, like according to our calendar, millennium would be 1,000 years, right? But a yuga. And I feel like one moment, nimishena, is a yuga. Because chakshusha pravishaitam, you're not visible to my eyes. And therefore, this whole world, Jagat Sarvam, is shunya. It's all just zero. There's nothing here. I'm just feeling Govinda Virahena. I'm just in this ocean of separation from Govinda. So continuing text 40. In my agitation, a day never ends, for every moment seems like a millennium. Pouring incessant tears, my eyes are like clouds in the rainy season. So like rainy season here in India is very intense. It's like every day full of clouds, dark storm clouds, raining every day. So yeah, incessant tears, like heavy rain in the rainy season. The 3 worlds have become void because of separation from Govinda. I feel as if I were burning alive in a slow fire. So not even a fast fire. You're not even a blazing fire. If you were burning alive in a blazing fire, you would just die. Right? You just fall in, and then within a moment you're dead because huge fire. But a slow fire, it burns you you die painfully. You're not dying, you're just burning and burning and burning, and the pain is getting more and more and more, but you're not dying because the fire is too slow to actually, kill you. Lord Krishna has become indifferent to me just to test my love. And my friends say, better to disregard him. So he's speaking in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So sometimes when the gopis are feeling such intense separation, they're like, I wish I could just forget about this Krishna. Can we just put him out of our minds and get on with our life? Can we just move on? He's obviously gone. He's not coming back. He's gone to Dwarka. He's there with those city women. He's living the aristocratic, sophisticated life with these, beautiful women. We're far from his mind. So since he's forgotten about us, we should just, forget about him. But they can't. While Srimati Radharani was thinking in this way, the characteristics of natural love became manifest because of her pure heart. The ecstatic symptoms of envy, great eagerness, humility, zeal, and supplication all became manifest at once. It's very interesting that sometimes these emotions that we hear that the Brajvasis experience in these intense moments of separation from Krishna are contradictory, right? There'll be like envy, which usually comes from pride, thinking that I deserve something more. Like, so I see somebody else doing well and I think I should be in that position. I deserve the happiness that they're experiencing. They should not be experiencing so much happiness more than me. And then, but envy is there. They're thinking towards the queens of the queens and the Mathuravasis who are associated. And then humility, at the same time, humility. That, oh, I'm so fallen, what can I do? So Krishna has left. And then there's great eagerness or zeal, enthusiasm, but then there's also supplication, which is like, submissiveness, accepting, resigning oneself to the situation. So these are all, but contradictory emotions are coming all at once, all simultaneously. In that mood, the mind of Srimati Radharani was agitated, and therefore she spoke a verse of advanced devotion to her gopi friends. In the same spirit of ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recited that verse, and as soon as he did so, he felt like Srimati Radharani. So this is the verse that Srimati Radharani spoke to her friends when her heart was full of those contradictory, very agitating emotions. She said, Ashlishyava padaratam pinashtumam adarshanamam marma hatakarotuva yatatatava vidadatu mampato madprananatastu saevana paraha. Let Krishna tightly embrace this maidservant who has fallen at his lotus feet, or let him trample me or break my heart by never being visible to me. He is a debauchee after all, and can do whatever he likes, but still he alone and no one else is the worshipable Lord of my heart. So Radharani is saying here that, he may embrace me, and he may be present before me, visible to my eyes, and he may embrace me, or he may break my heart by going away and never being visible to me. And even he may trample me under his feet. So usually in the translation that we have, like the normal, this trample of feet, it's padaratam. It's literally in the Sanskrit, but it doesn't come out in the usual translation. Padaratam means to crush me beneath his feet. So even if he tramples me under his feet, and even if he's a debauchee, even if he runs off with other women, like leaving me alone and abandoned and stood up in the dead of night, he's still my Lord, Mad Prananath. He's still the Lord of my life. And he can do whatever he likes. I'm never going to leave him. I'm never going to forget about him. I'm never going to even consider like anybody else but him. It's him and him only forever, no matter what he does. So this is the mood of Srimati Radharani. And Lord Chaitanya, he's in this mood, and he's reciting the verse, and he's feeling like Srimati Radharani feels. And then I'll just read a couple more verses here. Lord Chaitanya continues. I am a maidservant at the lotus feet of Krishna. He is the embodiment of transcendental happiness and mellows. If he likes, he can tightly embrace me and make me feel oneness with him, or by not giving me his audience, he may corrode my body and mind. Nevertheless, it is he who is the Lord of my life. My dear friend, just hear the decision of my mind. Krishna is the Lord of my life in all conditions, whether he shows me affection or kills me by giving me unhappiness. So this is transcendental ecstasy of the devotee, the pure devotee Srimati Radharani, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, in loving separation from Krishna. And so this is applicable to us in a couple of ways. One way is that that the Lord can do whatever he wants with me, right? That mood of full surrender, like Krishna, I'm yours. I belong to Krishna, and Krishna is my Lord and Master. I'm his property. As the owner can do whatever he wants with his property, then let it be. Whatever Krishna wants me to do or to experience in this lifetime, in the next lifetime, and after that, so be it. Let thy will be done. Let Krishna's will be done. And not that let my will be done, but let Krishna's will be done. So often we have this disease, right, that we want to do things my way. We want everything to work out my way. I have this vision for how this project has to be, or this situation or program, or my own life even, how that should be, how a relationship should work out, how whatever should go. And we become attached that it has to be my way or the highway, right? They say. So, but that's not the mood of a devotee. The mood of a devotee is, let it be done Krishna's way. Krishna, please just illuminate my path forward. Please let your will be known to me. Please guide me and instruct me and, just elucidate your will in my life, whatever that may be. And whatever that may be, I accept. And if along the way there's some difficulty, there's some discomfort, inconvenience, pain, heartache, loss, whatever, then that's okay. I'm willing, if you want to rake me over the coals, go ahead, because I know on the other side of those hot coals, there are your 2 cooling lotus feet. And that's my goal. And whatever I have to go through to get there, I'll go through because nothing else matters to me. There's nothing else for me in this world. I have nothing to do in this world except serve Krishna. No other person is dearer to me than Krishna. And so, if I have to give up some relationship in this world if that's required to serve Krishna, to reestablish my relationship with Krishna, then I'm willing to do that. That was the mood of the gopis, right? The gopis were all married women. Some of them had children at home, small babies. But when Krishna played his flute, they just left everything. They left their home, they left their husbands, their children, their families, all their household responsibilities. They just, without even hesitation, they just went. And they weren't thinking, oh, I'll just dip out and I'll go back later. They were thinking that was it. They were gone and gone forever, because in the culture at that time, they didn't know if they would be accepted back after going out into the forest that night and like that. So, yeah, there's a verse in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 3rd canto. It's the verse that comes right after Titikshanam, Titikshava Karunika Surida Sarvadehinam Ajata Shatjava Shanta Sadhava Sadhubhushana. Then what's the next one? You don't know? You want to look it up? I think it's 3:25:21. Who's got something? Who's got a device? Okay, I'll get mine out. He's slow on the draw. I think it's 3:25:21. Would you like to read the Sanskrit? Yeah, the next verse.
Maya nanyena bhavena bhaktim kurvanti ye drudham matkrute yat karmana styakta swa janabandhava.
Okay, yeah, the 22, 3:25:22. Yeah, so Maya Ananya Bhavena means unto me, Ananya Bhavena, with an undeviated mind. Ananyena means it doesn't go to anything else. And Bhavena means, Prabhupada translates mind. Bhava means your feelings, right? Your heart, your emotions. Your heart doesn't go to anything else except Krishna. And then Bhaktim Kurvanti Ye Dridam, that you perform bhakti with dridha, like dridha vrata, with Prabhupada translates it staunchly, staunch devotional service. Dridha vrata means like with a determined vow that this is what I'm doing. With determination, nothing is stopping me. I'm not giving this up for anything. And nothing is going to get in my way. And then, so it's Krishna and no one else, nothing else, no one else. And I'm doing this with great determination, with a vow. Like this is, my life is about this. And then tyaktva karmana, matkrite tyakta karmana, that I give up. Tyakta means renounce. That I give up all other activities. Tyakta karmana, matkrite, Krishna is saying, for my sake. For my sake, they give up all other activities. And also, tyaktva swajana bandhava. Swajana means your family relationships, and Bandhava means friends. And that even if we have to give up our friends and family for Krishna's sake, that's the characteristic of a devotee. He's talking, these are the characteristics of a pure devotee. So this verse is describing the gopis of Vrindavan, that, Ananya Bhakti, their devotion was only for Krishna, no one or nothing else. And they were very determined that we're going to love Krishna, we're going to meet Krishna, we're going to serve Krishna and do everything we can to please him. And they renounced everything else, right? Sarva dharmam parityajya, mam ekam sharanam vraja. They gave up all other religion, all dharmas, So the gopis, they had their duties, just like everyone has their varnashram dharma. So they have their Strī dharma. They have to serve their husbands, take care of their children, serve the elders, maintain their roles in the community and the society the community they lived in. And they just gave up all those dharmas. Sarva dharman parityajya. And they gave them up. And why? Mam ekam sharanam. Just to surrender to Krishna alone. And that's the characteristic of a devotee. Out of 26 qualities of a devotee, the main one is Krishna eka sharanam. That the devotee takes exclusive shelter of Krishna. Krishna alone is my shelter. I have no other shelter. I just turn to Krishna. So then I gave up everything for Krishna. Krishna is my only shelter. I'm totally surrendered, totally depending on Krishna. I do everything for Krishna. And then Krishna goes away. So you can imagine it's just very difficult, right? Very difficult. You have nothing else, no one else. It's you gave up everything else for this one person. You invested everything, your time, your energy, your intelligence, your heart, your life. Everything is your prana. This person is the Lord of your life, prananath, right? Mad prananathastus evanapra. So, and then he goes away. And you have no idea whether he's coming back. And you don't even hear any news from him. Right? He doesn't even come back to visit. And he stays away for like 100 years. So it's very difficult, this feelings of separation. But Krishna does that to increase the love. So we should have faith that whether Krishna is, even if Krishna breaks our hearts by not being present before us, he's doing it for a good reason, right? To increase our love. And even if he's trampling us under his feet, so to speak, by, putting us in some difficult situation of life, that's also to purify us so that we can uncover all the layers of anarthas and conditioning so that our love can actually awaken and rise and overflow our hearts and minds and consciousness and spread to all living entities in a mood of compassion and real, pure spiritual love for all beings. So that's why the gopis don't mind, because Krishna assures them later that no, it's all good. And they experience that, because when Krishna does come back, then, it's more glorious, more ecstatic, more blissful. So Krishna consciousness is anandam buddhivardhanam. It's ever increasing. It's an ever increasing ocean of transcendental bliss. So as long as we just stay in Krishna consciousness, even if we're not feeling it now, it's increasing, a little drip by drip by drip. And, like water dripping on a stone, it can wear away a stone, right? Water can, just a drip, it can make bore a hole through a stone. So like that, we're drip by drip, day by day, we're getting more purified, and our love for Krishna is slowly being uncovered. And one day, when that covering is gone, it's going to be like a geyser, like one of these geysers blasting out of the ground. Uncertain. So, we have a lot to look forward to in Krishna consciousness, so we just stick with it, stick with the process, following in the footsteps of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his dear followers. And don't be afraid of this separation, this feeling of separation, even though it seems like painful and distressful, but it's actually the highest ecstasy. Okay? This is what Lord Chaitanya taught, that Vipralambha Bhav is actually the highest feeling highest experience of ecstatic love for Krishna. So it only looks difficult, but it's actually another flavor of ecstasy or happiness. Okay, so we'll talk a little more about this later when we get to Chandra Sarovara today. Any questions or comments?
I appreciate this discussion because it's integrating what I've been experiencing recently, recognizing that so you're talking about how the gopis give everything to Krishna and then he goes away. He cheats them. And I've been thinking a lot about this idea of cheating because we're constantly being cheated. Every time we get a rickshaw, they try to cheat us. Every time you try to buy something in this country, I mean, even in America too, it's just more subtle cheating. Insurance companies, that whole industry is just a scam.
Yeah, Prabhupada said this world is a place of the cheaters and the cheated.
Yeah.
Everybody's cheating everyone.
Yeah, and then you get a little older, you look more into it, and you see governments are cheating you, your school system is cheating you, the health insurance, it's all cheating. So it's no wonder we have a little hesitation to surrender to a guru or to to God. And then I just think of this practical point that we have to just basically test Krishna, like we were hearing last night. Okay, Krishna says, I'll take care of everything if you surrender to me. So let me try to surrender in a small way and see what happens.
Yeah.
And gradually work up to that point of no matter what happens, even if I get cancer today and I'm going to die in 2 months, I'm okay. I'm happy if Krishna wants that for me.
Yeah. Yeah, Krishna knows what's best. He's omniscient and he's also our friend, right? Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram suridam sarvabhutanam gyatvam shantim richati. The Krishna is the supreme controller and he's also our best friend, suridam sarvadehinam. So if the person who is the supreme controller is also your best friend, that means that everything that happens is going to be good for you. Right? Whether we see it that way or not, according to our mundane vision, it may not look very good, but Krishna is seeing everything. We're seeing just a tiny little snapshot in time by our limited tunnel vision, like we're like horses with blinders. We only see like directly in front of us, and we only see right at this moment directly in front of us. Whereas Krishna, he's seeing all around 360 degrees. He's seeing past, present, and future Trikalagya. And so, he knows what's best for us. We are just so clueless. So that's why we just have to surrender to Krishna and depend on him and just accept that everything that happens is his mercy and it's for my benefit. And whether it appears good or bad or whatever to me, it doesn't matter. I just put my faith in Krishna and continue serving him and praying to him and chanting his holy names, taking shelter of him, serving his devotees, and everything is going to be all right. Yeah. And Krishna also says he's a cheater, right? He says, of gambling, I am cheats, right? But Krishna doesn't cheat his devotees. He cheats the non-devotees. He creates an illusion that in the material world there's happiness. And just when they think they're going to be happy, they aren't. They get frustrated. So Krishna cheats the non-devotees, but he never cheats his devotees. Krishna only pleases the devotees. And he knows how to please the devotees. So we need to... Everyone's looking for happiness. Everyone's looking for pleasure. Krishna is a reservoir of pleasure, and he wants his devotees to experience happiness. And so if we try to find happiness, we try to find pleasure in our own way, it's not going to work out. But if we just surrender to Krishna and let Krishna create the situation that will bring us happiness, then we're going to be happy. So that's kind of the secret. Yeah, we just have to trust Krishna. Okay, anything else? Grantra Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo.